How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Dr. Seuss.
Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot. But the Grinch who lived just north of Whoville did not. The Grinch hated Christmas the whole Christmas season. Now please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be perhaps that his shoes were too tight. But I think that the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve hating the Who's, staring down from his cave with a sour, Grinchy frown at the warm-lighted windows below in their town, for he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now, hanging a mistletoe wreath. And they're hanging their stockings, he snarled with a sneer. Tomorrow is Christmas, it's practically here. Then he growled with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming, I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming. For tomorrow, he knew. All the Who girls and boys would wake bright and early. They'd rush for their toys, and then oh the noise. Oh the noise, 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 noise. That's one thing he hated, the noise, 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 noise. Then the Who's, young and old, would sit down to a feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, feast, feast. They would feast on Who pudding and rare Who roast beast, which was something the Grinch couldn't stand in the least. And then they do something he liked least of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They stand hand in hand, and the Who's would start singing. And they'd sing, and they'd sing, and they'd sing, 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 sing. And the more the Grinch thought of this Who Christmas song, the more the Grinch thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 53 years, I've put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming. But how? Then he got an idea, an awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea.
I know just what to do. The Grinch laughed in his throat and made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat. And he chuckled and clucked. What a great Grinchy trick. With this coat and this hat, I look just like Saint Nick. All I need is a reindeer. The Grinch looked around. But since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found. Did that stop the old Grinch? No. The Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he called his dog Max, then he took some red thread and he tied a big horn on top of his head. Then he loaded some bags and some old empty sacks on the ramshackle sleigh and he hitched up old Max. Then the Grinch said, get at, and the sleigh started down towards the homes where the Who's lay a snooze in their town. All their windows were dark, quiet snow filled the air. All the Who's were dreaming sweet dreams without care. When he came to the first little house on the square, this is stop number 1, the old Grinchy Claus hissed, and climbed onto the roof, empty bags in his fist. Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch. But if Santa could do it, then so could the Grinch. He got stuck only once for a moment or two, then he stuck his head out of the fireplace, flew. Where the little Who stockings all hung in a row, these stockings, he grinned, are the first to go. Then he slithered and slunk with the smile most unpleasant around the whole room, and he took every present: pop guns and bicycles, roller skates and drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorns and plums, and he stuffed them in bags. Then the Grinch nearly nimbly stuffed all the bags one by one up the chimney. Then he slunk to the icebox. He took the Who's Feast. He took the Who pudding and the roast beast. Who cleaned out that icebox as quick as a flash. Why, that Grinch even took their last can of Woo Wax. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee. And now, grinned the Grinch, I will stuff up the tree.
And the Grinch grabbed the tree and he started to shove when he heard a small sound like the coo of a dove. He turned around fast and he saw a small Who, like Cindy Lou Who, who's not more than 2. Grinch had been called by this tiny Who daughter who got out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and said, "Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why?"
But, the old Grinch was so smart and so slick. He thought up a lie, and he thought of it quick. "Why, my sweet little tot, the fake Santa Claus lied. There's a light on this tree, and it won't light on one side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there, and then I'll bring it back here." And his fib fooled the child, and he patted her head. He got her a drink and sent her to bed. And when Cindy Lou Who went to bed with her cup, he went to the chimney and stuffed the tree up. Then the last thing he took was a log for their fire. Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. On their walls he left nothing but hooks and some wire. And the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for a mouse. Then he did the same thing to the other Who's houses, leaving crumbs much too small for the other Who's mouses.
It was 1/4 past dawn, all the Who's still abed. The Who still a snooze when he packed up his sled. Packed it up with their presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags and the tinsels, the trimmings, the trappings. 3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, he rode with his load to the tip-top to dump it. Pooh, pooh, to the Who's, he was grinchiously humming. They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up now, I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open a minute or two, and the Who's down in Whoville will cry, boo-hoo. That's a noise, grinned the Grinch, that I simply must hear. So he paused, and the Grinch put his hand to his ear, and he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, then it started to grow.
But the sound wasn't sad. Why, this sound sounded merry. It couldn't be so sad, but it was merry very. He stared down at the Whoville, the Grinch popped his eyes, then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it came just the same.
And the Grinch with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons, it came without tags, it came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas perhaps means a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in Whoville they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed with his load through the bright morning light. And he brought back the toys and the food for the feast, and he himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beast.
10 apples up on top. 1 apple up on top. 2 apples up on top.
Look, you, I can do it too. Look, see, I can do 3.
3, 3, I see. You can do 3, but I can do more. You have 3, but I have 4.
Look, see now, I can hop with 4 apples up on top. And I can hop up on a tree with 4 apples up on me.
Look here, you two. See here, you two. I can get 5 up on top. Can you? I'm so good I will not stop. 5, now 6, now 7 on top.
7 apples up on top. I am so good they will not drop.
5, 6, 7, fun, fun, fun. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But see, we are as good as you. Look, now we have 7 too. And now, see here, 8 on top. 8 apples up, not one will drop.
8, 8, and we can skate. Look now, we can skate with 8.
But I can do 9 and hop and drink. You cannot do this, I think.
We can do it too. See here, we are as good as you. We are all very good, I think with 9, we all can hop and drink. 9 is very good, but then come on, and we'll make it to 10. Look, 10 apples up on top, we are not going to let them drop.
Look out, I see a mob. I will make the apples fall. Get out, you one and all. Come on, come down this hall. We must not let our apples fall. Out of our way, we cannot stop. We cannot let our apples drop.
This is not good, what will we do? They want to get our apples too. They will get them if we let them come. We cannot let them get them. Look out, the mop. Cannot stop our apple fun. Our apples will not drop, not one. Come on, come one, come all. We all have to make the apples fall. They must not get our apples down. Come on, get out of town. Apples, up on top. All of this must stop.
Now all of our fun is going to stop. Our apples are going to drop.
Look, 10 apples on us all. What fun, we will not let them fall.